You. Okay, starting now, we're taking the rest of this newscast to hone in on one single topic. It's one that affects anyone who pays taxes and also tens of thousands of families across the Buckeye State with school kids. We're talking about the future of Ohio's traditional EdChoice scholarship or voucher program, one that's caught in legislative limbo, causing concern on all fronts.
People made decisions and life choices and plans to move their kids out of the districts.
The General Assembly says, well, hold on. For 60 days, we're declaring a moratorium, and these families can't, avail themselves of this benefit. Well, it makes it hard to plan. It throws your fiscal planning into, chaos.
We need to figure out what we're going to do and really move our public schools and our private schools forward in Ohio.
Members of the Ohio State House looked at it again yesterday, proposing an entirely new system late last night. It's one based on family income instead of on a school's performance. Dubbed the Buckeye Scholarship Opportunity Program, it would prioritize the most financially insecure families. And it would also mean local districts would once again be in charge of their failing schools instead of a third party. But that's only one part of the legislature. So, if you're a parent who is hoping to tap into EdChoice scholarship funds to go the private school route for your child, you might be wondering, how have we gotten to this point? Well, we're breaking that down for you as well. Last year, the list of eligible schools ballooned from 517 to 1,227. That's an increase of more than 130%. Districts complained. Then, less than 1 week ago, on Friday, January 31st, the application window for families was delayed last minute from February 1st to April 1st. And then on Monday, February 3rd, a group of parents, private schools, and school choice advocates filed a lawsuit against Governor DeWine and the State Department of Education, claiming they should still be able to apply to that long list of schools. I spoke with one of those parents today, along with the superintendent of her son's private school. Schools keep teaching, and students keep learning. But right now, there's a legislative limbo hanging over the state tied to traditional EdChoice scholarships. Late last year, the pool of students who could apply for one of those scholarships got way deeper, in part because the list of underperforming schools more than doubled.
I think everybody should be able to take their tax dollars where their kids will be receiving the best education.
Vanessa Lucky's son, Eddie, with all the changes, would have been able to apply for voucher money for his last 2 years at Cincinnati Christian schools. Well, that means $12,000. That's no small sum.
We deserve what was given to us in November. We've made life decisions.
Those decisions included putting money toward continuing her own education instead of her son's tuition. But after public districts complained about expanding the list of underperforming schools that would make more students voucher eligible, legislators delayed the ability to apply until April, all to work on EdChoice and who it impacts. Parents like Vanessa, some schools, and the group Citizens for Community Values said, not so fast.
It's problematic because families had a vested right to apply for these applications.
So they filed this suit to get the process up and running in accordance with last year's rules. While the wheels turn, no one knows who will be where next year.
Over half of the applications that we've received thus far for next year have expressed interest in applying for the EdChoice.
It is a holding pattern for students and places of learning. To public educators concerned about losing money that follows students to private schools, Vanessa says this about her own district.
Going on 11 years, they've been getting money for a child that hasn't shown up there once.
The debate over taxpayer dollars is a big one with EdChoice. That's because some 21,000 K-8 students statewide use $93 million worth of vouchers. At the high school level, it's 9,400 students and $55 million. That's all money that follows EdChoice students into private schools. So what does that mean for public schools, including Mrs. Parsons' kindergarten class in the Middletown district? You see her class right there. That district put out a fact sheet that says if the expanded list of underperforming schools were to stand, all of its schools would be on the list, and that's up from this year. That could mean more students in the district would opt for private education vouchers. This year alone, educators there say those vouchers cost the district more than $1 million. The Middletown City School Superintendent wasn't available for comment, but the superintendent of Lakota Local Schools talked about the money.
I have a problem with public tax dollars going to the private sector or private schools. I'm totally fine with school choice and options for parents. I believe in that. That's something I've believed in for a long time. But I just have a problem with public tax dollars going to private schools.
You say you support choice.
I do.
But can you support choice and not fund it?
Can you be for choice if you're not funding public schools? I mean, that would be another way to say that. But I would say really, yeah, you can be for choice, and as a parent, you have a choice whether or not you're going to take advantage of a robust, really good public school system, or you're going to send your child to a really good, robust private school. As a parent, you get to choose that, and so if you're going to invest in a private school, that's a choice that you've made.
In a conversation with ODE today, I was told, quote, "The point is choice dollars follow choice kids because the public schools aren't educating those kids." But money isn't the only issue with the program that's in limbo. Superintendent Matt Miller says the metric is too. That's how schools are evaluated and end up on the underperforming list.
It's an offshoot of the local report card that are deeming schools as failing, but I can tell you that in Lakota and many schools across the state, those schools are not failing. In fact, they're performing very well.
You have 8 schools.
On the EdChoice, we have 23 buildings in Lakota.
23 buildings in
Correct.
Lakota, 8 schools that are on that list.
So Endeavor, unfortunately, is one of our 8 deemed failing schools, but they get the Momentum Award. So in-house in the district, we've been saying that they've been failing with momentum.
So you're saying with EdChoice, hit the pause button?
Yeah, absolutely. Hit the pause button. The whole EdChoice component and the expansion of EdChoice was a part of a budget bill. It wasn't discussed with educators, parents ahead of time. I think we need to press pause on this and talk about education in Ohio and what it needs to look like.
Hitting pause is exactly what is upsetting families who want to exercise choice and can't right now. So we're taking a closer look at the numbers for you tonight. Here's how southwestern Ohio counties compare to the entire state. More than $31.5 million was transferred from districts in Brown, Butler, Claremont, Hamilton, and Warren counties for the EdChoice program. That's compared to $148.8 million transferred from districts all across the state of Ohio. That means tri-state counties represent just over 20% of that total number. So I have spent the last week compiling information for this half-hour report. We'll take a look at the process, here are the notebooks, and questions that still remain.